Hello and welcome to John Cooper Works. My name is Mike Cooper, I'm the chairman, and this is one of the cars my dear late father John Cooper created that was so successful in the 50s and 60s. This car is the car that was driven by Jack Brabham to the 1960 Formula One World Championship. But I'd like to start with a film showing you some of those fantastic achievements my father had in motorsport. It all started in 1946 when the Cooper Car Company was formed by my father John Cooper and his father Charles, and they started with the Cooper 500. The Cooper Formula 3 was basically a four-wheeled motorcycle, 500cc, and with the likes of people like Stirling Moss driving the car. Even Bernie Ecclestone was one of the first customers to buy a Cooper. Straight into Formula 2 with Mike Hawthorne driving at Goodwood. The car was driven by many famous drivers. Peter Collins, even Juan Fangio drove the Cooper Bristol. Then Cooper launched the rear engine. In 1955, entering the British Grand Prix, the little Formula 2 car proved already that the rear engine revolution was about to begin. Coopers went to Monaco with Jack Brabham proving that oversteer was still a great thing to watch the drivers leaning out of their cars and racing. But Jack Brabham had a little thing about weight. He loved to keep the cars light and often was seen draining fuel out of the car, and hence was often seen pushing his car over the line. My father always used to put a bit extra in, but Jack insisted in draining it off. When we went to our first World Championship race in 1957, things in those days were slightly different to today, and you can see in a moment what a pit stop was like and a refueling. Two mechanics, my father putting in the fuel, and of course the driver ready to go back out onto the racetrack. The budget that year was £100,000, and Coopers with their team were soon to become world beaters. With Bruce McLaren, the young New Zealander, winning his first Grand Prix in the USA, things were looking good. In 1959, my father was ready to celebrate the World Championship. Although it wasn't Brabham crossing the line, it was Bruce, and my father asking what happened to Jack. Well, guess what? We all know where Jack was. He was pushing his car over the line, but he pushed it home to take fourth place and win the World Championship. A great achievement for the little company from Surbiton. 1960 followed, and the car, they realised that the opposition was catching up. Jack Brabham and my father then designed the whole car on the aeroplane back from America, and in 1960 the low-line T53 Cooper became a dominant success and won virtually every Grand Prix that year. The success of Formula One led us to Indianapolis. The rear engine revolution took America by storm. The little car was small, light, with an underpowered 2.5 litre engine, was known as the funny car by the Americans, but their grin was soon wiped off when the car was so successful. Jackie Stewart, the young 18-year-old in Formula 3, was so dominant in the Formula 3 Cooper that he went on to great things. The team manager then was Ken Tyrrell, and Ken and Jackie went on to become a great force in Formula 1. Coopers continued through the 60s, and in 1966, the great John Surtees, motorcycle champion, drove Cooper Maseratis to success. One of the last hurrahs for Cooper in Formula One, and only in 1967 did Pedro Rodriguez achieve the last result Coopers were looking for. But of course it was the Mini that brought every success. Coopers were dominant in every form of motor racing, and my father wanted to capture the saloon cars. The Monte Carlo was won 3 times. Paddy Hopkirk, seen here, driving the fantastic little car and beating the giants of its day. Not only were they successful at Monte Carlo, but every rally worldwide the Mini was dominant. And then of course to touring cars. Touring cars, the Mini Cooper was dominant against the big cars of their days, the Jaguars, the Ford Galaxies, the Ford Anglias, the Mercedes. The Mini, with the hands of people like John Rhodes, Hanley, Gordon Spice, was a fantastic car. And of course in those days the drivers used to drink the champagne. They all used to meet afterwards, have a drink in the pub, and if there was any left over, my father would finish it off. The history of Cooper.